Welcome back to the Every Single Oasis Single series on the Girls Like Rock 2 podcast. My name is Sarah. This is my sister, Katie.
Hello.
This year, we are going through all Oasis singles in chronological order to keep the Oasis vibes alive this year. Katie and I were totally on the Oasis bandwagon last year.
Yeah.
We saw them when they came to Toronto, and we just thought it'd be a really cool journey to go through all of their singles. And we're actually doing it, Katie. Mm-hmm. We're into the Heathen Chemistry era. Katie, what single are we going to be talking about today?
Sarah, today we're going to be talking about Stop Crying Your Heart Out, which, if I do recall, is one of your top 10 Oasis songs for you.
It was. Last summer, Katie and I ranked our top 10 Oasis songs, and I think this made number 6 or 5 or something.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fave of mine. It's a
It
gem. It's a gem. Are you ready for some tidbits for Stop Crying Your Heart Out?
I'm curious about these tidbits, Sarah.
Yeah. I did some digging. Let's see how this goes. Stop Crying Your Heart Out was released June 17th, 2002, about 2 months after the debut single for Heathen Chemistry, The Hindu Times. And this is just a couple of weeks before Heathen Chemistry was released on July 1st. So I guess the final push for this album. This single peaked at number 2 on the UK singles chart. Not bad. Can you guess what number 1 was?
June 2002. Oh, goodness. I'm Poppy? No, or Garage Rock?
No, A Little Less Conversation. Elvis and JXL. Remember that one?
Yes.
That was
okay.
huge.
Yes, I do remember that.
So. Stop Crying Your Heart Out has been certified double platinum. It has sold over 1.2 million copies.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. I remember Stop Crying Your Heart Out was pretty big here in Canada. Katie and I are based in Canada. It went to number 6 on the Canadian singles charts.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And it went to number 1 in one country, Italy. Number 1 in Italy.
The Italians loved Oasis in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess Heathen Chemistry did quite well in Italy because the Hindu Times also went to number 1. So that's pretty cool. Little tidbit I found, I guess Stop Crying Your Heart Out hit radio stations in the US before the UK. By a couple of weeks. I guess they thought maybe this would give a little bit of an Oasis resurgence in the States, although I don't think it charted at all in the United States.
But it did make its way onto Ashton Kutcher's movie, Butterfly Effect.
Oh, yeah, I did read that.
If any of you remember that movie, A.B. Smart, Ashton Kutcher, I think 2004, 2003 maybe. It does make it at the end of that movie.
At the end?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good ending for a movie. Ending song. Okay, I never saw it.
I haven't seen it as an adult. I was 16 when I saw it. I'd be curious to watch it today.
Yeah, that was one of his big ones, one of his first serious ones.
Yeah.
Enemy review. They call it mildly disappointing. So I'll read a little bit of what Victoria Segal writes about Stop Crying Your Heart Out in The Enemy. Looked at in the sober light of day, it's nothing but a lachrymose slur through the big Knoll book of emotional cliches and some truly shameless piano. But you just know that come closing time, it could make a breeze block cry. And there lies Oasis's eternal magic. Damn them.
These reviews by the music critics, they come off as insulting, but yet they're also kind of condescending. They're also complimentative in a way.
Yeah, they are. I know. I just wanted to share that because it's kind of both in one.
Yeah.
in one sentence. But if you've watched this before, you know I love the emotional cliche Oasis songs.
Yeah, Sarah loves her walks with her.
I do love my Oasis walks. Yeah,
with her reflective songs, pondering things.
That's right. And this is one of them.
Yeah,
right?
for a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. If you tuned in before, you know Katie and I, we go through the Rolling Stone top 40 Oasis songs that they made to celebrate the reunion back in 2024.
Did it make it?
It did make it.
Wow.
You didn't think it would?
I don't know. I'm still baffled that Who Feels Love didn't make it. So
oh yeah, and Sunday Morning Call did.
yeah. So I just don't know what to expect.
So it did. It made it number 33
Oh, wow. And even like
So not
a
bad.
little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Was it 40 or 50? 40
For what?
for how many songs?
Top 40.
Okay. So not like way up there.
I thought I would rank it higher. Obviously, it was one of my
Yeah.
top 10. The Hindu Times, they ranked number 24. I would have
Oh.
thought this one would be ranked higher, but we've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I think it's worth repeating. Stop Crying Your Heart Out is the 4th most streamed Oasis song on Spotify.
Which is interesting.
It is interesting. Number 1 and 2, OBS, Wonderwall, and Don't Look Back in Anger. 3rd is Champagne Supernova at 649 million. And then it's Stop Crying Your Heart Out at 622 million.
Maybe we can thank Ashton Kutcher for that.
Maybe the butterfly effect.
Some people go down the memory lane of watching Butterfly
Yeah,
Effect, and they're like,
yeah,
"Oh
you
yeah,
never
that
know."
Oasis song's pretty good."
Well, and it beats Live Forever. Live Forever is at 451 million. So
That
there's
blows my mind.
There's a pretty big
That
jump.
Stop
up
Crying Your Heart Out
to-
does better than Live Forever.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I would not have guessed the 4th.
No.
Out of all the Oasis songs. Stop Crying Your Heart Out is arguably the most popular Oasis single post Be Here Now. Do you think? Like I read it on like a couple of just Reddit threads and blogs and stuff.
I don't know. It's interesting. I just feel like after doing our last episode on Hindu Times, that seemed to get a lot of buzz.
But I find the staying power.
Yeah.
Stop crying. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
I
Stop
I
crying your heart
completely
out.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Go Let It Out in Hindu Times. I think they were really big at the time because it was exciting, new Oasis.
Yes. Yeah.
But
this,
this has staying power for sure.
Yeah. So with that, 2 reasons why I think it's so popular, and you may know these 2 reasons. This was released 2 weeks before England was eliminated from the 2002 World
Yes,
Cup.
I do recall reading that.
And so this kind of became like an anthem. Like,
Yeah.
freaking crazy.
Shout out to one of our listeners. I apologize. I don't remember who, but someone did make a point to mention that.
Oh, yeah?
That,
Okay.
that song was heavily played when they lose.
Yeah, and I think if you're living in the UK or England, I think they made like a montage on the BBC with this song in
Okay.
the background when they lost.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that kind of made it pretty big.
For sure.
And Leona Lewis
Yes.
sang Stop Crying Your Heart Out for her second album in 2009, and I think performed it on the X Factor.
Yes,
I guess
read
that
that
was
as
her
well.
first. And it did well. Like it actually charted. It peaked at number 29 in the UK.
So that probably helped.
Exactly. And Harry Styles and Liam Payne both sang Stop Crying Your Heart Out in 2010 on the X Factor.
Oh,
I did not know Wendy were from the X Factor until like way later.
really?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I just
Yeah.
thought they were like the Spice Girls, like come together. But I'm like,
No,
oh.
I remember. Reading
Yeah. I'm like, oof. And then also in 2020, BBC Children in Need, it became like their official song for like the fundraiser. I don't know if you saw that.
I
And
haven't,
like
but that's
it's a bunch
appropriate.
of yeah, it is. It is for like COVID and just
Yeah.
this. And huge names are on this. I watched it. Like Brian Adams,
Oh, wow.
Cher, Mel C, Kylie, Lenny Kravitz, all sing
Wow.
like little parts of it. It's quite lovely.
Cool.
Yeah,
I need to
it's-
watch that.
Yeah, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's beautiful actually, and like what a fitting song. And,
Yeah.
like I'd love to hear Cher sing this whole song. Actually,
Yeah.
she does a great job.
She'd be really great at it.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
been through some stuff.
Yeah, totally. With that, I want to share. I've mentioned this book before, and shout out to one of our listeners who suggested it, A Sound So Very Loud by Ted Kessler and Hamish McBain, who go through every Oasis single. And here's what they have to say. But why stop crying your heart out? Why not Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, or Champagne Supernova? Maybe because it exhibits a more clear, direct, universal sentiment than any of those songs. It's about not dwelling on something that is bringing you down, about finding the strength to move forward. Perfect, in other words, for someone who is about to have their dreams shattered live on Saturday night television, or someone wondering if they'll ever be allowed to leave their house and see their friends and family again. So it kind of does suit those both situations. With that, ending the tidbits, it is not included on the set list, which I think was was something that I'm sure a lot of Oasis fans were. For Post Be Here Now, this is definitely one that I would have thought they'd include.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't because it's associated a little bit with COVID, with that and like the X Factor. I don't know.
It would have been a beautiful song.
Oh
live.
my gosh.
Under the stars.
Beautiful. I know when it started getting dark.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why they didn't include it. Maybe it's too emotional for them.
Yeah, it could be.
It would be a hard song to sing for Liam every night.
Yeah.
But what can you do? One Heathen Chemistry single did make it into the set list.
I would have, dare I say, preferred Hindu Times over Little by Little. Not Stop Crying Your Heart Out, but
Yeah. Stop Crying Your Heart Out or the Hindu Times.
I think Hindu Times would have been.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I think Stop Crying Your Heart Out because we all would have got so emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been really nice. I think like part of the ending,
Yeah.
like take out Wonderwall. Put it Stop Crying Your
Sarah.
Heart Out. I know.
Riots would start
Yeah,
if they didn't play
I
Wonderwall.
know, you have to, but it's such a great song.
Yeah.
Track list, 2 B-sides. Katie, did you listen to the single?
I did. I didn't recognize them.
Oh yeah?
Did you?
Okay. I did, but there are 2 that I don't know as well.
Yeah.
Thank You for the Good Times. This blew my mind. It's written by Andy Bell.
Oh,
I didn't know
cool.
that. Yeah, I thought it was written by Noel.
Cool.
And I guess I just read somewhere that apparently Andy wrote this for some fans, Thank You for the Good Times, as like an appreciation when he was going through a tough divorce back in the day.
Oh, cool.
And so I just felt more connected to it.
Yeah.
Just like, even though you're like a hot, sexy rock star, you still do go through these
Oh, yeah.
regular human experiences that
Yeah.
are really hard.
Well, not to get off the topic of Oasis, but my mind was blown when I found out Depeche Mode Precious was about his divorce.
Yeah, you did mention that
Yeah.
when we did. Yes,
I had
yeah.
all these years, I had no idea that's what the song talked about. And for his kids.
Yeah, it just meant, I don't know, it meant really something when I listened to this after hearing that. And I think that's kind of cool that someone, I mean, of course, we love our NG songs and our B-sides. Come on. But
love
I
you,
just thought it
Noel.
was, But I thought it was cool that
Yeah.
they gave some breathing space to the other artists in the band. Shout It Out Loud. Again, another NG where you're like, why is this only a B-side?
Yeah.
Like this is really well done.
Yeah.
I like it
No,
a
I
lot.
enjoyed them. I didn't recognize them, but I enjoyed listening to them.
Yeah, me too. This one I did remember. I think I listened to this one a bit more, but now I'll listen to Thank You for the Good Times more too. But yeah, I think Shout It Out Loud, it works though on this single. Like it complements Stop Crying Your Heart Out, like the sentiment, I think really well.
I was like, this isn't going to be a Kiss cover, is it?
Is that a song? Is that a
Shout
Kiss
It Out
song?
Loud, yeah. I was like,
I don't think it
no.
is.
And then I started listening. Okay, no, it's not.
No, it's an NG classic. Music video.
The music video.
Talk about nostalgia.
It's funny. I didn't realize, Sarah, how much we watched the Heathen Chemistry music videos as we did because I recognized the entire thing.
The whole thing, like them playing and then the woman walking around, I guess, LA.
Yeah, they must have played it on Much More Music. If anyone remembers Much More Music.
This would be very much more music.
Yeah. So they must have played it a lot on
Yeah.
Much More Music, which was like Much Music before the more mature audience.
Yeah, I guess at this point, Oasis were a bit more mature.
Sorry, you're not on Much Music, but we'll push
Yeah.
you to Much More Music.
Yeah.
But
But I think I was on Much Music too, because I remember this video really well.
yeah, because of Much More Music. It was just one channel below, Sarah.
That's true. Yeah, when you're flipping through.
Yeah. Every day they had the top 5. But anyway.
Oh yeah, kids back in the day, you had to actually like flip through channels.
Yeah. And yeah, I recognize the entire thing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So the woman is Michelle Roman. Not much known about her. I guess she's an actress. Apparently, the ending of this video was censored.
Oh.
Like she was actually going to. It was going to be hinted that she was going to light herself up with gas.
Oh, herself up.
Yeah.
Oh, because I just noticed like
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah.
and
But they censored that out because they thought maybe that's a little bit
a little bit much.
a little bit
And this is
much.
post
Yeah.
9/11. People
Yeah,
are
that's a good
being
point.
more careful about
Yes,
violence and
yes.
stuff.
Yeah, and it's a hopeful song.
It
right?
is.
So it's like she's kind of, I don't know, trying to find her way
Yeah.
in life, and I think Oasis look really good.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Like,
all of them looked really good. All
They-
members.
Yeah, this is when I find, I love early 2000s Oasis. Maybe that's because I was like watching this, I'm like 15 again, watching Oasis,
Yeah.
right? Like Liam just looks so on point in this
He
video.
does. He does.
Just like, ooh, they all do though. They look very good. You look very good, Oasis, in the Stop Crying Your Heart Out video.
They're like, well, yeah, we were like 35.
Yeah,
Of
well,
course we look great.
Liam was probably like 30.
Yeah. I feel like the what would you say, actions of the video, like it's kind of backwards because like for the girl, because the model, she's all happy at the beginning and then she goes to light stuff on fire.
Oh, that's a good point, Katie.
I don't know.
Maybe they say like they didn't put it but explicitly, but before, and then sometimes they show that in like movies or a TV show like 3 hours before. Like, maybe that's
how I felt because
that's really
she's
cool.
so hopeful at the beginning, looking at the sky, enjoying the scenes, and then at the end is when she lights things to put on fire. So I just felt like, they kind of reversed it. That's
a really cool
interpretation.
reading of it, actually, Katie. Like the beginning is what she ultimately feels, and maybe that is a very big like Oasis sort of sentiment where you go through something a bit dark or hard in your life, but you do see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Right. Ultimately.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, don't they say Live Forever is the antithesis to grunge?
Yeah.
Oasis were considered a bit more positive.
Yes. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. I think Noel said he wrote that after listening to some Nirvana.
Oh.
Like Live Forever, just because Nirvana can be quite bleak. So, and grunge in general.
Yeah.
So yeah. I did what you did, Katie, and I started reading all the comments for Stop Crying Your Heart Out.
Oh, I love doing that. Some of them.
Oh my gosh. If you're having a bad day, I highly suggest looking at comments for the Stop Crying Your Heart Out.
Were there ones that were
wanted to
very
share-
positive?
I
or...
wanted to share one. Just a trigger warning. I do mention depression and suicide. So this is a comment from somebody on the Stop Crying Your Heart Out music video on YouTube. This song is my sister's and my favorite Oasis song. This song helped my sister a lot. She was fighting depression and attempted suicide twice. But when she first listened to this song, her life changed. And now she's happily married with 3 kids. And I'm a proud brother and an uncle. Thank you, Oasis. Thanks a lot.
Wow.
Isn't that lovely? And there's 96 replies to this from people being like, oh, that's so great. I went through a rough time too. I found this song really helpful, or Oasis.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you read comments and it can get pretty like mean and depressing.
Oh, some are just
like
robots.
just in
and
general.
it's just dumb.
But this one wasn't. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is so lovely. And there were so many wonderful comments. Someone else wrote, I love how the comments are a loving community coming together, realizing their worth and sharing their pain. Music brings people together.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the idea of this podcast too, right? And us talking about Oasis so much.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's what I was thinking when I was reading through
Yeah.
all of these comments. And one more, someone just shared. This is the most depressing but also inspiring comment section I've come across. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so
But
true.
that was like Stand By Me. Oh,
Yeah.
Who Feels Love Too, I think it was.
Yeah,
Both of
you
those. I
shared.
was like, wow, these are some
Yep.
powerful stories people are sharing.
Powerful.
Yep.
Yes. And then someone young said, oh, this is one of my first Oasis songs I came across. And I really loved it. I was just like, this is so, I don't know, just wonderful.
Yeah.
Everyone just coming together with such a lovely song. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I said, if you're feeling down, read them. It's so great. Final thoughts. I have a little story to share connected to Stop Crying Your Heart Out.
Okay.
So last year I went to Dublin and I'm just walking around and I went into like a museum or library. It was open to the public and they had artwork all over the walls of high school students. And it was artwork with like different inspiring quotes and lyrics. And there was one, And it was by a Grace and, let me just get the names here. Grace and Sophie from Eureka Secondary School in Kells. And they had one, and the lyrics were "Stop Crying Your Heart Out."
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it just started with all of the stars, and they had a picture of like a dolphin, and it was just so, I don't know, I just found it so moving. Obviously, I'm an Oasis fan, so when I saw the lyric, I thought, oh, cool, Oasis.
And
this is
not like a super,
not like a
well-known
super,
song.
yeah, it wasn't like Wonderwall or something. And so I thought that was really cool, where it's like two teenagers who I'm assuming are big Oasis fans, or at least find this song inspiring. Maybe they're 1D fans.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like, oh, I just found a connection to it because I was like, I was really into Oasis when I was a teenager. This came out when I was in high school. I'm in Ireland. I just felt really overwhelmed in a good way,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
sounds kind of silly. So I took a picture of it. If you do happen to be watching, I'll post it. Something about that moment just really,
Hit you?
yeah, it really just stuck out for me for this whole trip. And it was just a little moment, but just the idea of art, creativity bringing people together. Like this was a creative work from somebody that took the time to do it, posting it in this creative space with this really awesome song.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just hit me in a really good way. And
Cool.
that's my story with Stop Crying Your Heart Out.
Nice. Yeah, Stop Crying Your Heart Out. That came out, I would have been going into grade 10. And I do remember in high school, it got me through some high school times, friend drama, arguments with your parents, finding out who you are.
Finding out who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
definitely.
I do appreciate this song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it'd be interesting if Noel would have released this in 96 or 95 when they were still on top of the world.
You think it would have been even bigger?
I think the critics maybe wouldn't have been so hard on it.
That's a good point, Katie, because we've mentioned this before. 2002, and this sounds so funny saying this now, but it was kind of like the cool thing to hate on Oasis.
Oh, definitely.
So
Like, can
you're
you
right.
imagine if they came out with whatever in 2002? Critics probably would have knocked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm free to be whatever I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, you've lost your charm, Noel. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Maybe if this came out like right after like Don't Look Back in Anger, it would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah, or how they came out with whatever between Definitely Maybe and Morning Glory. If they would have done this between Morning Glory and Be Here Now, just a random single,
yeah.
I feel like it would have received a lot more love then. That's just my opinion.
This would have made a good second whatever if they were to do another single like that in between. I don't know when Noel actually wrote Stop Crying Your Heart Out, but that's a good point. Yeah, this was like, and maybe that's why Heathen Chemistry doesn't get much love either. Like this was just a time when the ratings weren't, it was just not Oasis's time.
No, it wasn't.
Right?
It was, like you said, it was more in vogue to hate on Oasis. It wasn't cool to like them.
No, not at all. Like you wouldn't walk around with an Oasis t-shirt.
No.
Which is so funny because how times have changed.
Oh, how the pendulum has swung,
yes,
people.
That's right. It swings, definitely. This one, I know Liam once mentioned like, oh, I like singing Oasis because it's like a warm blanket wrapped around you.
This is definitely a warm blanket song.
Isn't this like the warmest blanket wrapped all around you? Stop Crying Your Heart Out. Oh, it's so friggin' good.
It is a good song. It's a beautiful song.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So there you have it. Let us know your thoughts on Stop Crying Your Heart Out. If you have a story you'd like to share, we'd love to hear it. We love the thoughtful Oasis comments that you write. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Stay tuned. We have a lot of great singles still coming up.
We do. Yeah. I think though we're over the halfway mark.
Gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I think we are, Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. We're actually doing it.
Yeah.
2 more from Heathen Chem, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. Katie and I really appreciate your time. Stay tuned. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks.